Richard, brother, welcome to the show, man. I really appreciate your time, and especially on a Saturday morning. I appreciate the coffee, and dude, you're the first one in the built, fresh new studio, so I'm excited for this, man. Right on. So, kind of start us off, get to know you a bit. Take us through kind of your transition, like leaving high school to kind of where we are at now.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a long one. How much time we got?
Take your time, man. We're no rush. It's your episode.
So basically, from leaving high school, I left and went to a college in Newfoundland, and I did a program called Music Industry and Performance.
Oh, jeez.
Which was mostly music-based, a little bit of business, a little bit of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Nearing the end of that program, which kind of brings me to Sudbury, I was unsure what to do with my career, and a friend said, I'm going to Sudbury to do mine engineering. I says, yeah, why not? I grew up around mining. My dad's a geologist, so on a whim, literally didn't think about it. I said, yes, I'll go.
Amazing.
And then I came to Sudbury with him in 2006. Joined a band in 2006.
Nice.
Dropped out of college after about 3 months. Played in the band for 2.5 years, worked odd jobs.
Nice.
And so my wife, I had met her as soon as I moved to Sudbury.
Oh, yeah?
And so we've been together 15 years now.
Jeez, congratulations.
Thanks.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, so basically that brings me to that point. 2.5 years later, kind of left the band, needed something different. So we moved back to Newfoundland, went to St. John's. A year after that, I got into Metalworks Institute for Audio Production in Mississauga. So we moved all the way back to Ontario. And then we kind of bounced around there. I finished the program and did an internship at Joe Cavallo Mastering in Toronto. Stayed there. Then we went back to Newfoundland again. Stayed there for 8 years.
Jeez, that's amazing.
And then finally came back here about 3 years ago.
Wow,
3.5 years ago.
So you're familiar with Sudbury.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely
nice.
familiar with Sudbury.
So now, where'd you you said before we started it was like a French town, a French city you grew up in, so you didn't grow up in Newfoundland?
No, I grew up in Newfoundland. So it's kind of the town name is Baie-Verte. That's how we call it.
Yeah.
There's Baie-Verte, obviously.
Yeah.
So French origins, but there's very little French left there now. It's all English.
Now, in terms of geography, where is that located in comparison to like St. John's? Because that's where
it's about
I know
6 hours west of St. John's, roughly 600. It's like I want to say 600 kilometers from St. John's.
Oh, jeez.
So it's on the north central coast.
Okay. Nice.
I don't know if you've looked at the map of Newfoundland a lot, but there's on the west side, there's a big long peninsula.
Yep.
The northern peninsula.
Yep.
So the Baie-Verte Peninsula is a little one right next to it.
Oh, cool. On
So
like the west side of it. Or
it'll be on the east side of it. So if you're looking at it, it's the northern peninsula on the west side, and then just east of that, there's another little one.
I see what you mean. Yeah, I'm
so
thinking
that's where we are. Yeah.
Bass Acres.
So pretty isolated little town, or not? It's isolated, but not.
Yeah.
Like, we were the big town, and we had 1,200 people. So like all the little communities around us.
So you were the big fish in the small pond kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
in the area.
It's pretty small town, but awesome place to grow up.
Nice. So when so leaving then, going to St. John's, that's a big difference, eh? Like that's
very
a
big difference. So the college actually was in Stephenville, which is on the west coast. So it was like I gradually moved up in size. So with Baie-Verte about 1,200 people. Stephenville I think is sitting around 8,000 people. I might be overshooting it, but
on the west coast?
Yeah, right on the west coast of Newfoundland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I want to say 8,000, maybe a little bit less. So yeah, gradually moved up, and then went from there to Sudbury, which was a big change.
Yeah, I guess it would be in that.
And then
starting in all the small towns.
Sudbury back to St. John's. So Sudbury and St. John's are about the same, very very similar in size.
Like 100, like geographically.
Geographically, St. John's sprawls a little bit more.
Yeah.
Population wise, it's about the same, and then like in terms of city speed, it feels the same. Yeah, but then when we came back to Ontario again in Toronto, that was big.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's the shift for sure.
Yeah, that was like, how did I end up here?
So
we loved it, but
yeah. Was it like I find for a big city, favorite big city has to be Ottawa. I don't know. I'm not much of a Toronto person.
To visit Toronto, I enjoyed it. Living there started to get a bit old.
Yeah.
I haven't spent any time in Ottawa. I've driven through there, and I hear nothing but good things.
Yeah, dude, it's one of those things where the pace of the city isn't rushed. There's no, like, but here I find nobody's moving anywhere. You know, like, it's very slow. I'm always in traffic, like, stressed out, like, keep going. And then, like, I'm like, make the turn. And then it turns out there's a pedestrian walking, so I'm that guy who's just honking at the person who's not going to. It's like, take the option. Just avoid them.
Yeah, I've done that once or twice, and then I feel so bad.
Yeah, dude, yeah, it takes a lot out of you.
Actually, I did it on my way here this morning. I didn't honk, but I was behind someone, and they were in the right turning lane, and I almost honked at them because they had their left signal light on to get out of it. And I was getting so impatient, and then they got out of the way, and there's a car broken down in front of them. Like,
come on, you're like, oh no.
No, I'm that guy stuck
okay.
here.
I'm stuck here now. So, what was, and I'm going to stick on this for a bit with Newfoundland and St. John's specifically as a whole, as a province, because I'm trying to go out east next, like, spring. So, what would you recommend for somebody who's never been out in that direction as an adult to do?
Ooh. So, to St. John's specifically?
Yeah, we'll start there, and then we'll go broader out east.
Yeah, because like Newfoundland is so big, you really need a lot of time. And I guess it depends on if you're into the downtown, like bar scene, or if you want to see more of the outdoors type stuff.
Probably both. You can split the
a little
two.
bit of both, yeah. Like sure. George Street, obviously, is a go-to. Spend a night or two down there, have some fun.
Yeah.
The East Coast Trail, it covers almost the entire east coast of the Avalon Peninsula, which is where St. John's is. I think it's in a range of 400 kilometers of maintained trail. Okay. And it's some of the nicest hiking I've ever, or it is the nicest hiking I've ever done. It's amazing.
Now, is that referring to kind of, were those, when you were on the trails, explain to me 30 by 30 challenge.
30 by 30 challenge.
Yeah, so I think it was you had photos way back when of, I think it was like in Newfoundland or off the East Coast. And there was a caption was 30 by 30 challenge, or something like that. I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, I'm struggling
because I'm trying to think of the good way to describe it. Yeah. But I definitely think once you see it, you'll be like, oh, this guy took a deep dive.
You went way back.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Let's see. There you go.
And did you ever look back through Facebook or just Instagram?
To be honest, I'm not sure.
No.
I kind of do.
Facebook goes back further. I'm pretty new, relatively new to Instagram.
I think because they're just really cool, like East Coast photos. So I wanted to talk about them because I was like, ooh, what is this?
Oh yeah, 30. So yeah, that's part of the East Coast Trail. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's my favorite section. That's like a 5-6 kilometer section of the trail.
So it is
that is the East Coast Trail, or a part of it. To
it.
be honest, even looking at that, a 30 by 30 challenge, I'm unsure.
I'm not sure what. Yeah,
I'm not sure what that was.
Parks thing, or if it was a run you did.
Maybe I was just learning hashtags. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
It was definitely something, but I
had no idea. I was like, I wonder what he means with that. Excuse me. So, how you went into school for music, right? Okay. So why? Like, what was your because that's huge. Because did you have much experience in music before? Or what's your kind of background? How'd you get into music?
Yeah, I started playing drums at the age of, I don't know if I was 12 or 13, and then played all through high school. So in the small town, there was only 1 or 2 bands, only 1 or 2 drummers.
Nice.
So we played a lot of music, and then in grade 12, trying to decide what to do. Someone at the school had mentioned this program to me, and I said, you know what, that sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. If nothing else, just to get my feet wet into music and see if I like it. So then I went in there and as a drummer, and then from there kind of branched out into get a little more interest into recording and audio, but still focused on drums, I think.
Yeah.
And it was only once I came to Ontario that I seriously thought, you know what, I really want to get into recording and audio.
Yeah.
More so, yeah.
What made you decide that?
No specific thing other than, honestly, no real specific thing, I guess.
Just an intrigue?
Just an interest. And I guess technically it would go back, even when I started playing drums, I had this little cassette recorder with a built-in microphone.
Oh, nice. No way.
I do kind of remember putting that on the ledge in our rec room where we had all the music set up, because my brother played guitar and all my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd record and just play music. So I guess technically it goes back to there. I don't really think about that too much.
Uh-huh.
So I would experiment with positioning, like almost like old school recording.
Yeah.
Position where to put this little speaker so that it would blend everything.
Interesting.
So like I'd record a song and listen and be like, okay, it needs a little more of this, a little more of that. Yeah, I don't really think back that far.
That's kind of what we do.
Yeah,
that's what I do. So I'd like to know, how did learning music and being so involved in growing that skill set of music, how did that help you in challenges you faced, like kind of later down the road?
I'd kind of be making up if I say dedication. Like obviously dedicated to music and audio, but a little bit unrelated in terms of my transition from music and audio into fitness and these sort of challenges.
Oh, really?
A very two different.
Like you've compartmentalized it.
Yeah, they've been very compartmentalized.
Nice.
And then like the fitness and those sort of challenges came later in life.
Yeah.
But obviously there's definitely been challenges with music and audio in terms of like financial, finding work. Because I worked for Battlefield Equipment Rentals in St. John's, and then I left those guys to go self-employed with music. And I held it for about 2.5 years and managed to do it, but then it started getting a bit tight, so
yeah,
I went back to Battlefield.
What was kind of your what was your favorite experience doing that though? Because I know I've had a handful of people ask me about, I'm like, what do you want to do? What do you? And their whole thing's like, man, we want to do music. Like, we want to try it. We want to see and perform. And amazing. What was your like favorite experience from that kind of time in performing?
So,
bands?
well, during that time, like when I went self-employed in St. John's, I had very little performing. I may have done 1 or 2 shows here and there. Had a band, and we did play a little bit, but it was more on the recording side.
Oh, nice.
So I got to work with so many different bands. Like I did one really cool project.
Yeah.
Actually, we were doing a sketch comedy show, and then that went from, so that was a lot of fun. So I was doing audio for that.
Oh, that's sick, dude.
And then that spiraled into different production ideas with a couple of the crew. And we did, I can't remember the number, but 2 days in the studio with, I believe we put through 12 bands. So we were going to do like a YouTube series, and it kind of, I believe we went through every band and we did complete it.
Wow.
So I think 12 bands in 2 days in the studio. So each band would record 2 songs.
That's insane.
Yeah, 2 songs, then we'd shuffle them out, change all the mics, so we had everything from like a solo artist to a full band to Irish Newfoundland band that did 1 song a cappella with 1 microphone.
Come on.
And then the other song we had to shut like 14 mics we had to throw up.
What?
Yeah, so we did 2 days with however many bands. And then we came back a weekend later and did all the interviews with them. And then the way the shows aired on YouTube was song, interview, and then ended with a song. So it was really, really cool.
No kidding, man.
So I would say that's the standout. One of the standout things. Like so many cool. I go on for days about that stuff. Like,
give me another one. That's sick.
I would say the other coolest experience was recording in a wine vault. That was
in a what?
A wine vault.
A wine vault.
Oh, like literally a wine vault. I'll show you after.
Yeah.
I'll show you the videos. So,
oh man,
the band name was Fairgale. They're awesome. They're still going. Doing really good.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of portable gear, so I could record anywhere. So we rented a little bit of extra to make it work. A friend of theirs did the video, and we went in this wine vault that I want to say is either late 1800s or early 1900s.
Whoa!
So it was like a stone cavern, rounded ceilings.
Come on.
Insanely hard to record in.
I can imagine.
Live off the floor, so you got drums, 2 vocals, 2 guitars, and a bass.
Big challenge.
Yeah, very big. So mic choice was very important.
Yeah, what'd you end up going with?
I believe for both vocals, I had a Shure SM7. That was the biggest thing. Everything else wasn't too bad because the mics are close to the amps and the drums. Drums are drums. They're gonna.
Yeah, you're gonna be heard if you play drums.
So it's fine. So the vocals were the biggest issue, and I believe we had to redo a couple of the vocals after the fact, which I'm not too disappointed by because obviously the challenge is insane because the ceiling, like the guys, if they backed up, they would have hit the ceiling. It was very low.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a
yeah. I think you'll be interested to see the
I'm
video.
pretty intrigued. Yeah, I am. I'm wondering too. How do you be? Why a wine cellar or wine vault? Sorry.
We just like getting different locations for a cool video, and then
it's for the video is the focus.
The video was the focus, and the performance came out great. But yeah, they just had cool locations, and one of the guys had a connection with the wine vault owner.
Yeah.
Because the wine vault is mostly used for just tourists.
Right.
And then you can rent it out for events and weddings. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was cool.
Dude, that is cool. You guys just rented the wine vault.
Yeah.
For the video, and then it just turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it was cool.
Man, I'm so excited to see this video.
2 or 3 songs in there. And then we had like another guy from Nashville came up. We recorded at a cabin with the same band. So went to this cabin and recorded live off the floor. So that was a lot of fun. I did a lot of those. So I'm like stationed under the stairs with my mixing board.
Come on.
And then, yeah.
Oh, cool. Man, that sounds like a blast.
It was so much fun.
Jeez, because I've only...
kind of miss that stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You ever debate, like, teaching it or going into it a bit?
I'd like to get back into actually doing it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like that kind of
work, yeah.
Yeah. Like mixing under stairs and stuff?
Yeah. Could probably leave the stairs.
Yeah, you're like, I'll do it standing up and comfortable.
Yeah, I want a high ceiling.
Hell yeah.
8 foot at least.
You got standards now for it. That's good. That's good. Moving up, bro. Moving up. So, man, that's really cool because I don't go into it a lot, but especially on the show. But I find as a skill, learning any music or even just trying to understand it. Like I've been learning guitar for about a year, like taking lessons like weekly for a year. So doing that and seeing kind of how much I need to break down skills or certain things I'm trying to learn in order to like use that. But then I find it's making me learn a lot quicker in other things that I'm doing.
Yeah, I can
see that.
Sense.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's weird, but it's something that as I go through and I will break down a certain song or a scale or pieces of songs or chords just to kind of understand everything, going and breaking it down to a finite level and then being able to kind of apply that technique of breaking something down to like the basic of steps and like your reaction to everything is ridiculous. And being able to use that to other places, whether it be fitness or whether it be work or business, it's been something that I didn't really expect would come of just, I want to play songs on the guitar.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think it just trains your mind to react differently and to think differently.
I think so. And that's where, and it's I'm really curious about that type of kind of performance psychology as well, where like performing in a band, do you ever get like what was your nerves like before? Like how were you able to kind of deal with that? Like what was your mental prep before performing or
mental prep before performing?
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot, to be honest. I was pretty confident drumming. Like I'd get nervous about usually it was about remembering where the parts go instead of playing the parts.
Okay.
So that was where I was nervous, I guess, but more, not a lot of nerves.
Nice.
The more nervous I was were the shows that I was on the front of the stage. So if I'm in the back of the stage behind the drums, I feel, I don't know.
You're like I'm at home.
Safety.
There's this wall.
I'm at home. It's
sound.
Like it's because I've been doing it for so long, I guess.
Right.
Like, since 12 years old, so it's
probably
kind of got used to that. Growing up playing in high school, playing around town, so you get used to that. I did one tour in the Maritimes, so Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and PEI with a band.
That's a blast.
When I left college, I got hired on I filled in for the drummer because it's kind of comical in a sense, but he was a fisherman as well, and the tour lined up. It ended up being fishing season. He had to go out. He had to make his living doing that. I hope I'm recalling it correctly, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So yeah, they hired me on. We had not even a full practice. It was intense. So I graduated college. I had a few weeks to learn their songs, and then my mom literally came in for graduation and then drove me 9 hours across the province.
Wow.
To this guy's house, to the band's house, and at this time I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
And one guy was in his 30s, I think, or early 30s.
Yeah.
One guy was in his mid 40s, and then the other guy was in his 60s. So like world of experience, and I'm just this kid. But yeah, they trusted me and they brought me in, and we played through most of the songs, not all of them, and then we set out on the road in a minivan and played and played theater shows throughout the Maritimes.
Man, that sounds like a blast.
That was awesome.
Jeez.
That was my first like real good paying gig.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was nice.
Nice. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's kind of, you know, the dream.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Right? Good paying gigs that are fun to do.
Yeah.
Cool people. Jeez.
Yeah, I learned a lot from those guys.
Yeah? What was one thing that kind of like you remember distinctly that you learned? Or maybe not distinctly, but...
Maybe not something I learned, but one thing I remember from that tour was the fact that it was a theater tour. So we played earlier shows. We played from 7, I think 7 the show would start. We'd play till maybe 9. And then we'd maybe have a drink, but mostly just go back to the hotel, relax for a bit, and get to bed. So it was really tame and really, really manageable. Like,
yeah?
Even at that age, I couldn't do the bar scene, like playing late at night.
Right.
I've done it, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So I definitely learned that was a manageable, healthy way to do it.
Yeah. It does seem like a rather intelligent way to approach it.
Yeah, like they've been around the block enough to know.
Yeah.
Just a different type of show. And then I remember Bobby Evans was his name, or his stage name.
Yeah.
So he was, I'm not sure his age, but he was the older gentleman. And before we go on stage, the first song would start with drums of every show. And he had giant hands.
Yeah?
Like he was a fair-sized man, but had even bigger hands.
Epic.
And like, so he would, right at the edge of the stage, he'd hit the tempo on my back. And then I'd walk it on stage, and that's where we'd start.
Dude!
It was so cool.
That's gangster.
Yeah. It was intense, but it was cool.
You're like, he's just hitting.
Especially I was like...
Yeah, I can imagine. You're not the biggest person ever,
I was
right?
just this little 19-year-old.
And he's just like, hits the...
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, that is
Good
pretty cool, for sure. Oh, man. That's awesome. So kind of switching gears, take us through... Tell me about your athletic journey. How did that kind of get started? Because it sounds like the beginning was more music focused, and then athletics kind of came in, not recently, but more like recently.
Yeah, and like compared to music, definitely recently.
For
like,
sure.
And obviously, like through high school, I enjoyed lifting weights, like a lot of teenagers do, and even in college, I'd lift, but nothing terribly intelligent. Just lift. Very little cardio.
All biceps.
Pretty much, yeah. I actually, one guy nicknamed me Mr. Bicep in high school.
Epic.
Mostly making fun, I think, but maybe a little bit of truth to it. Because obviously, all you think when you're a teenager is, I want to do bench press and bicep curls.
Yeah. That's all I do now.
Yeah.
I'm 25.
Yeah, so yeah, I did that. Then gradually throughout my early and mid 20s, I started gaining weight.
Yeah.
Because a little bit unhealthy lifestyle in music, so a little bit of drinking, quite a bit of drinking. A lot of fast food, like play till 2 a.m. at a bar and get McDonald's on the way home.
Yeah, it's open, it's easy.
And that just caught up on me. So I think my heaviest point as we went through that journey, when I went back to St. John's, so after Metalworks in Mississauga, which was also a lot of fast food, a lot of Krispy Kreme donuts.
Amazing.
All kinds of stuff. I went back to St. John's and I ended up hitting around 230 pounds, roughly.
Dude.
Didn't even realize it at the time.
Yeah?
And thinking back now, I'm like, oh wow. Like, I bought a mountain bike and did 8 kilometers. And I remember coming home being gassed and like, wow, I did 8 kilometers. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then obviously that's great. Like, everyone start somewhere, and
you have to.
Endurance, like, just touch on endurance. It's just whatever's tough for you. So it's not like comparing one thing to another.
Right.
It's tough at the time. It's tough. You push through it. Like, that's good. So obviously it was a good bike ride. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 230 pounds, and I said I got to do something.
Yeah. And
I was interested in UFC. Watched it quite a bit. So I joined a gym in St. John's because I had a friend or two called 8-Limb Muay Thai.
Oh, no way. Okay.
It was amazing. So 3.5 years with those guys. Trained a ton. Lost a lot of weight right away.
Yeah, man.
Didn't change my diet very much, which we'll kind of get to in a second, which kind of comes back to haunt you. But through them, it was 230 pounds. Got down to about 170.
Jeez.
Felt amazing. Yeah. And looking back at pictures, I looked pretty good.
Nice.
But diet didn't change a ton. I still ate pretty bad. Still drank. Mm-hmm. So when I left that gym and actually left St. John's, moved to Corner Brook for a year, the weight started creeping back on because the diet was still bad. And I didn't have that gym. And I was so in love with that gym and everyone there. So yeah, the weight crept back on. And then by the time we got back here to Sudbury, I was back up to 220 pounds.
Ooh.
almost 220.
Stop.
So, yeah, and then on Facebook, we're kind of jumping very far ahead here.
Do it up.
Actually, sorry, I'm going to go back a second.
Mm-hmm.
I touch on because just back to Corner Brook.
Yeah.
While I was big, like I was gaining weight, I was still biking a lot, but it was the diet that was getting me. Like I did a couple 100K bike rides. My landlord at the time was a friend's dad, who was always a big athlete.
Mm-hmm.
He took me out on my first 100K bike ride, and it was awesome. Jeez. But I was still gaining weight because of the diet. Yeah. So yeah, but that kind of spurred an interest in endurance for me in long distance, and then it went dormant, and it kind of like went back down. So yeah, 220 pounds here, and then I see an ad on Facebook or Instagram for a gym opening up, a Ninja Warrior gym.
Nice.
Now I see most people have seen American Ninja Warrior. I'm like, that's amazing.
That's cool.
I want to be part of that.
Double backflip over water.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure, man. For sure.
I seen this, and I seen it happening, and I like, what's going on across the street from my house? So I saw these trucks pull in. I see people coming and going.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go over and just ask what was happening, so I just waited. And then when I seen them post their address, like, no way, are you kidding me? This gym was literally opening up across the street from my house.
Oh, come on.
So I was living on Loches Road.
And it's right
across the street.
Dude.
So I was sitting on my couch watching them build this gym.
Come on.
So I signed off about 2 months before they opened.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think Dennis said I was the first membership.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like way before they opened.
Oh, wow.
And then...
That's awesome.
Joined the gym, and then just stuck to it. The guys were awesome. Dennis is amazing.
Yeah.
But such a healthy lifestyle, and like kind of learning from them and being motivated. Yeah. My diet started to switch. I slowed down drinking. Mm-hmm. Started eating healthier, so it's a lot more manageable.
Yeah.
So now I think this is my lifestyle now. This is what I'm gonna keep. Mm-hmm. So even if I stop for a few weeks, can't exercise because of an injury.
Yeah.
The diet's there, so it's not like the weight's gonna creep back on.
Right. It won't creep back on so quick.
It just feels a lot more manageable now because of the diet, and I feel better.
Nice.
So yeah. So. It's been not quite 3 years yet since Apex has opened, but definitely back down to the lightest and fittest I've ever been. Yeah.
Amazing. But so I've heard many and only really great things about Apex, and every single person in the last couple months who I've talked to or who I've had on have said the greatest things about like your Apex leader Dennis. And so I think to hear that you were the first one to sign up and to see kind of, and hear actually, here's something interesting for you to hear what people say about you when I tell them you're coming on the show, like their reactions. Because basically my process kind of, if I know somebody knows somebody, and I know I have that person on, and they're more, whatever their style of personality is, whether it's introverted, extroverted, kind of in the middle, depending on the environment, right? You kind of go either way. I would typically go in and find information about them, figure it out, kind of understand what the main focus is or what the message is for what the episode is, and then go into kind of why I think it's a good idea that this person chat with me. And then there's this whole group of people who I know that person. And so I'm like, hey, so-and-so, I'm having this person on, blah, blah, blah. What do I have to know about them to make this good? And then they tell me. And I'm like, wow. So the people that, we'll leave them out of this. I'll tell you after, probably. Maybe we'll see. But the people who I asked about like things and stuff to talk about and stuff to kind of dive into, they had only the greatest things to say about you. And to hear, not because it's not just, oh, really good dude, have a great chat. It's like, hey man, the guy's such a good dude, you know, his personality is really cool, he's really smart, he's really good at music. Like, all these extremely positive things coming from these extremely cool and positive people that I really enjoyed talking to, I think is something that's huge. So being able to chat with you about it, I'm grateful. And with that being said, back to kind of like the, I just want to get that out. I want to tell you. I just want to share that with you.
That's cool.
Because it reminded me.
Feels good.
I'm glad. I'm glad it feels good, bro. I am. And it's something that that kind of focus sounds like it was like they're all kind of athletic based people, it seems like, or people who didn't have. And I was just talking with somebody about this a week ago. Is they have there are these people who are doing these ridiculous things, right? Whether it be like all these crazy runs at 5 a.m. like Chris, right? With all these crazy runs. He's not per se the most athletic person. Like, he didn't grow up running triathlons or marathons, right? Like, his base wasn't athletics, right? And then same thing with my buddy Matt, where the base isn't athletics, but then he's able to switch it on and find something that forces him to do something that's stupid outrageous, like swimming across lakes. And then to hear you tell me that, and then knowing where you're kind of few years, correct me if I'm wrong, few years of like focused athletics and like diet and stuff gets you to biking Manitoulin Island, which when I hear that, I go, I don't even want to drive there. And I hear like you say you biked around it, and you did it for camp quality, correct?
Yes.
Not crazy? Okay.
Yeah.
So take me through the beginning of that. How did that kind of come to fruition? Because that's epic.
Let's go back a year. So I touched on the bike rides that I did in Quarterbrook. I did a couple 100-kilometer bike rides.
Yeah.
And then that went dormant again, and kind of down below. So last year on my birthday, I said, I got to do something. I want to do something big. So I said, I'm going to go to Manitoulin Island, just me, just by myself. Nice. I believe I asked a few people, but on last minute's notice, not many people want to go bike 120 kilometers.
No.
So my previous personal best was 120. Nice. So it was my birthday, so a little over, probably, I guess a year and a half ago at this point. I went to Manitoulin Island by myself and mapped out a route. Was 127, I believe, which was my personal best by about a kilometer. But I just wanted to beat it, just something new on my birthday.
Yeah. Nice.
And then I just fell in love with riding on the island. So then this year, like talking to Will about his challenges and things he was coming up with, I really want to do something.
Nice.
And then I'm like, you know what? I think I might bike around Manitoulin Island. And then I was looking at the map, like, I think I might bike around all of Manitoulin Island.
You're like, hey man, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, like if I'm being honest, like it started as a very, not necessarily selfish, like I just wanted to do it just to do it. Mm-hmm. And then Matt approached me and said, you know, why don't you join on and help me out and do this for Camp Quality? I'm like, yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
Hands down, no problem.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I was able to do that and help out Camp Quality. And it definitely gave me an extra push just thinking about that.
I can imagine.
So yeah, I thought about that and I mapped it out. And being from Newfoundland, I love the island because it feels a little closer to home out there.
Yeah, versus
just being
here. Yeah. Oh, a little, eh?
Yeah, a little bit closer.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I started. I was like, I want to see all the lighthouses. So I couldn't see them all, but I planned it out so that I could start a lighthouse, hit another one, hit another one, and then circle back to the one I started at. Mm-hmm. And then I start researching it, and then find out that Mississauga Lighthouse is closed for renovations and also due to COVID. Okay. So like
lame.
But yeah, it's too bad. But then I looked into it, I'm like, you know what, I already planned this out. So I reached out to them, and they were on board right away.
Come on.
So they helped us. They opened the gate, or helped us get in the gate.
Yeah.
And they allowed us to go in, just us. So everything is closed down. So we biked in there, opened the gate, went down to the lighthouse, checked it out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then came back out, and one of the ladies, Christiana, was supposed to meet us here and let us in.
Yeah.
But we were way ahead of schedule. So we beat her there. So we went on in anyway. And then came out, and she actually just met me on the highway on one of our breaks, and we chatted for a minute. So it was really nice to meet her. And
that's cool.
And really appreciative of the help.
Yeah, no kidding.
So that was cool. So I got all my lighthouses. The first one was the most exciting, Mississauga, of course, because I was feeling fresh. And kind of...
You had a good energy for it. And
definitely
stuff.
Good energy. Yeah. But the reason I got there way before she did was I got so excited in the morning, and I just rode hard out of the gate.
Yeah. And
it didn't feel like it. Obviously, all the excitement, I was just pushing, just flying.
God, that's cool.
And all the guys know me and know what I'm like in races. I do the same thing all the time. Control out of the gate is not my strong suit, but it always catches me.
You're that guy.
But in an event,
that's amazing.
Event like this, it's funny to think because I was like, I pushed too hard for the first 5 hours. It's not like I pushed too hard for the first 5 minutes. I was just like cruising for 5 hours until I got to Mississauga, and then it hit me.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
How far into that ride is that?
It's about 120 kilometers, so it was a little less than 5 hours.
Yeah.
I think it was roughly 120 kilometers. So the first 100 kilometers, I was averaging, I think, 31 kilometers an hour, which is way faster than I trained.
That's
way
quick.
Faster than I normally ride.
That's very quick.
Yeah.
Dude, I drive that fast.
Like why I did that, I don't know.
Yeah, that's insane.
Just so exciting.
Good for you, man. Like,
No.
For 5 hours? Come on.
Yeah, that was intense.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, so your tie to Camp Quality was Matt.
Yes.
Stuff right on.
Yeah.
Do you plan to kind of visit them or visit the site or?
Yeah, I'd love to go down and check it out. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what they're doing right now due to COVID. I don't think it's. I think it's all virtual still.
Yeah.
But I would love to get down there, and like right before the ride, Matt had arranged an online meeting with all the campers, and so that was really cool. So to hear them cheer me on, and then cheer Simon who did the 100K run.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting to do that just a few days before the bike ride.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely like to get out and see the site. I've looked at pictures and seen videos. It looks amazing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a mental, what was kind of your preparation to do that? Like, mentally?
The physical training helped mentally because I was doing 13 to 16 hours a week on the bike, like on top of working 44 hours a week. And then on top of that, riding.
Right, eh? People forget that.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that going into it, to be honest. And I'm like, oh wow, I gotta get up and bike 2 hours before work. So it was pretty tough. And
that's insane.
My wife made it possible. Like, she's amazing.
Yeah?
Unbelievable.
Shout out to her, dude. That's awesome.
She spoils me all the time, to be honest.
Nice.
But during this, she really made sure I could do it.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Just like setting you up kind of.
Yeah, like I didn't really have to worry about too much besides bike, work. And then the obvious things, we have 2 dogs, so help walk the dogs. And
yeah. There's certain things you can't not do.
2 puppies, and they're pretty intense to walk by yourself.
That's true. I can imagine. Yeah, you showed me them on the FaceTime, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, they're a lot of work.
They gotta each got their own energy, and they're going in different directions.
But yeah, I had a lot of help, but she definitely made it possible. So mental training, just the hours.
Yeah.
Hours on the bike helped, and then I read a lot of books about endurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what? 350 kilometers, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's pretty impeccable that's something that you're able to not just accomplish for something kind of greater. And then I think at the end of the day, though, it was good that I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't lose sight of you were still doing this for you.
Yeah. Right?
Like, it was still a self-accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because where I get nervous, where if I were to do something similar more in my lane, would be I'm doing something for somebody else, for a greater cause, bigger than myself, and then it almost puts the pressure on me to not think of it as something that's what I'm doing it for me at the end of the day, because that's the core, right? If you're not doing it for yourself, kind of what are you doing it for? And it's being able to kind of be selfish, but still have that part of you inside that's I'm doing this for me. I'm gonna achieve this goal for myself, and all these things that are gonna take place, like, it's for the greater good, but I want to be able to do it for myself as well, right? It's a weird thing I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, it's a mix of, I guess, in intrinsic and extrinsic. Like, I think I'm saying those right.
I think so.
Yeah, like doing it for yourself would be intrinsic, and then doing it for I guess technically, like, pats on the back and that stuff is extrinsic goal.
Yeah.
And then, but also for the charity or whatever you're supporting will kind of fall into that category. So everybody's different, where they rely more on intrinsic versus extrinsic, I guess.
That makes sense.
So everybody's different. Some people really, really stick. Like, doing it for the charity would be their main goal, whereas other people doing it for their pride and just for themselves might be the bigger motivating factor, I guess.
Huh. That's interesting. there's a lot of when I see things like that going on, and this is something I want to ask you specifically, but after achieving something like that for something greater than yourself, for doing a crazy physical challenge, and the consistency of going through the training, because I think the consistency of that is, like you said, what would build that mental fortitude to get through the actual event. But what I want to know is, how do you, like, is that the cap of kind of, for example, I'm kind of clarifying this a bit for myself mainly as well.
Yeah, no worries.
And so, when people are working so hard towards a goal, and then they achieve that goal, what's the fallout like for you? Like, is it very, very, a lot of people get depressed. Like, if you're working and you get this, you're working so hard for your degree and you've put everything else on hold, and then you achieve that goal, you're at such a high. What's the fallout like after? Like, what's the comeback from that?
Definitely felt down. I don't want to say, probably not the word depressed in my case. Like, some people do, some people don't. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't feel depressed. I felt a little bit lost, I guess.
Okay.
Like all this time on the bike, I'd wake up in the morning and like, okay, what do I do? Like, I took about a week or so off before I went back to the gym.
Nice.
So it was just nice to get back into the gym routine. I think without that, maybe then I would have struggled more. Yeah. But because I had the gym classes that I'd missed out on for 12 weeks, because I just couldn't do it with the biking. Yeah. So that kind of filled right back in. Maybe that's what it was. So instead of getting up and biking 2 hours, I'd still get up and go to the gym a couple times a week, and I've been gradually increasing because it's very different.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that helped, definitely.
Nice.
Typical Apex saving me.
Amazing. Yeah. Shout out to him. So I think that's something that I think a lot of people don't hear about or don't talk about or think about when all the sacrifices, everything that's made, and then they accomplish this crazy feat. It's like, well, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Right? There's always bigger, right? So with that, what's the next thing, Richard?
That's a big question.
What's the next feat? Because it's I think it's gonna be crazy.
I flip-flop between
if
ideas.
you have ideas.
I have a couple big ideas that are probably going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Nice. Whether or not it's this year, I don't know.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is I have a lot of different hobbies. Like, I like playing music. Yeah. I like biking. I like kayaking. I like running, hiking. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to squeeze those all in. Like, the bike training was amazing, but it was so focused on bike. I just got to I got to decide for myself if I want to dedicate that much time to one thing.
Right. You like to.
I'd like to do a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like my coach, Mike Nowalaniak, he helped me in the beginning, and we're doing biking, but then he's like, I noticed that you're trying to squeeze in a run, so like he helped me kind of back off, and he's like, if you want to go for a run, it's fine. Like, he noticed that right away, that I like to do a bit of everything. Mm-hmm. So he helped with that. So yeah, back on the goal thing, I want to bike across Newfoundland. So from Port aux Basques, where the main...
Whoa.
The southwest coast is Port aux Basques.
Yeah. And
then St. John's, I technically call the southeast coast, more I guess east coast. Mm-hmm. So it's just under 1,000 kilometers. I think it's 918 or 920. So
what the?
So I'm gonna bike across that.
Hell yeah!
So I did 350. Yeah. Lots of people have done it. Most people do it like in a camping sense, and they're exploring and do it in a week.
Yeah, you're like, no.
Week or less.
Hopping on the bike once.
It's my problem. I want to do it fast, but I also want to look around and camp. So it's almost like I need to do it twice.
Do it twice. Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to do it twice.
So,
crazy guy.
So 350 kilometers in a day was Manitoulin. So if I do, say, 310, 320 a day, I could do Newfoundland in 3 days.
That'd be epic. That'd be good.
3 days in a row.
Yeah.
But 350 in a day was on 12 weeks training. After not biking very much for a year or so, mostly just running.
Yeah.
So if I decide that this is what I want to do, there's a chance I could do it in 2 days. It's possible.
There is, yeah.
So I guess I got to decide if that's what I want to do and how much work I'm going to put into it.
Yeah, and I like you said, it's not a next month kind of challenge, you know.
So like the Manitoulin thing was kind of short notice in terms of the scheme of it. Like a 12-week training program is great, but I guess I was riding indoors on the trainer all winter, just not specifically training.
Right. There's a big difference.
So yeah, so 2 days across Newfoundland, potentially 3. That'll be a decision, but that's what I'm going to do.
That'll be cool.
When, I don't know. Because there's other ideas too, like pack wrap or bike packing, but more so bike rafting. I'm looking into.
Yeah.
So there's alpaca pack rafts seem to be the most popular ones. So they're like 4 pounds, and you can put them on your bike, and then they're designed so that you can pack up your bike and put your bike on it. So a lot of people do then like river trips on a bike, and then they'll throw their bike on their inflatable kayak, and then kayak, and then get off. So it allows you to explore so much more.
You can just go like how the crow flies.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah.
And whatever you hit.
Whatever you want.
What?
You're limitless.
Dude,
almost.
that's so cool.
So that's an interest as well. And that will be more so logistical, and that's less physical training for that. And that might be more of like...
for sure.
I probably won't do that as an event. I might just get into that as a hobby, like on the side.
That'd be cool to do.
Do some weekend trips, stuff like that. So yeah, lots of ideas.
Man, that's a cool one. I like that.
But that's one of my most... That's probably the biggest one I want to do.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be sick.
Or the biggest hobby I want to get into, I should say.
Yeah. Dude, do you have a... you want to own a... you said you're into kayaking and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, you did a kayak trip recently?
Did a couple recently. So part of the reason I planned the bike ride for July was because I wasn't willing to sacrifice my entire summer. So I was like, I'm going to plan this for July.
Smart.
So that I got the second half of summer to run, bike,
nice,
kayak, do all these things.
Kind of get it over with, but
yeah,
they're still nice.
So partly so I could do it all, and also so that my wife didn't need to stand by and just watch me bike. So we could do things together. So that
smart
kind of helps too. Yeah, so we did. I'm not sure which trip, because there was 2 big trips I did. One down the Manitoulin River, and then there was one out by Phillip Edward Island.
Tell me about that one.
That one, so there's 6 of us went on. We rented 3 tandem kayaks.
Nice.
Did a little bit of research, not a ton. Mm-hmm. I knew enough to know that the waves get big quick there on Lake Huron.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So quick.
Yeah. It's bad.
So part of me didn't believe it. I believed it, but I didn't know how quickly it would pick up.
Yeah.
But I'm a very cautious person. Like very careful.
You manage your risk, I'm sure.
So the forecast wasn't great with winds, and I asked some people, Killarney Outfitters, and don't, it's not worth it. Like the waves, they said after a certain point, their rescue boat can't even get past the lighthouse to get you.
Come on.
So I took that as meaning don't go. So instead of doing a 2-day trip, we just did it in a 1-day.
Yeah.
So we went out, and we didn't really map it. We roughly knew where we were going, and we just started heading out. And we seen this island. We're like, we're going to go to that island. Learned a lot on this trip.
Yeah.
Went to the island. It was amazing. Weather was perfect going into it. We pull in on the... kind of backwards. West or whatever side we pulled in on. I believe it was on the west side.
It was one of the directions.
One direction.
One direction.
We pulled in and it was perfect. Didn't think about the fact that was where the wind was coming from.
Yeah.
Or wind was hitting. So we hike over to the other side of the island, have our fire, hung out, did a little bit of swimming.
Nice.
Walked back across the island. The winds had picked up, which we didn't notice because we were sheltered on the other side. Yeah. So the waves were pushing our kayaks in, like they were all on the shore, but we struggled to get out. It was a tough to get out, and then I want to say, might be guessing 5-foot waves, maybe 5-6 foot
probably
waves.
At least, yeah.
Coming back, and
that's no exaggeration either.
No, and I was using a GoPro 9, so it's hard. The stabilization is amazing. Yeah. So it almost takes away from it because you're watching it and it doesn't look that bad.
But you're in your
the kayak's doing this and rolling, so the horizon is staying perfect. 'Cause that's what the GoPro does on this setting. But you can see the kayak goes like this, so you can kind of tell by looking at it. It just doesn't.
If you know you're looking at it.
Yeah.
Now, do you have the footage? I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not uploaded though, is it?
No, I'm still working on it.
Yeah, because I'm I want to see it because I know you said
my GoPro
it's
crashed.
There, but it's
Yeah. So I've been a month now working on it with some help. I'm very close. I don't even think I have any here to show you. I'll send you a clip tonight. Okay.
Awesome. Please.
It's cool. So I'm working on a video. So sick. I've managed to recover the videos. No, I completely lied to you. I'm confusing my 2 trips. Sorry. I do have footage of that one.
Epic.
Yeah, that's on Instagram.
Amazing. Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Right. It's my river trip that I did with my wife. We went down to Monopatay for 33 kilometers.
That's what it was. Okay.
I lost the footage to that one, so I'm almost ready for that.
Because I was like, there were 2 people, but there are multiple people on your Huron trip.
So yeah, the river trip that was a big adventure as well. But yeah, lost the footage to that one. I switched the SD card right before we got into the open lake, like nice calm stuff.
You switched the SD card while on the water?
That was scary.
Dude, yeah.
But that was my mistake. I should have done it like 10 kilometers further back because the SD card reached the end, and when it was nearing full, that's when the corruption happened. Apparently this is a common issue.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have the right SD card.
Yeah.
So lost all that footage, so I've been working to get it back. It's back, but every 2 seconds, the screen goes white. So my when I do the video, it's going to be like 2-second clips.
Slideshow
which is fine. It'll be interesting. There was a lot of good times on that river and scary times, but good times.
Yeah, dude. When I was, I think I was. So do you know where John Island is? Okay. So I'm not sure either. I was just hoping you would know, because I've only been there a handful of times. But it's a summer camp through the YMCA, and I ran leadership programs when I was younger, and like out of these summer camps. And when I was I think it was 19. Yeah, when I was 19. I co-led a leadership program for I can't remember. I think it was a 3-day or 5-day. It was like a 5-day trip, but we were 3 nights on the water. But anyways, 5 days, 5-day trip on but it starts just. I'm trying to get geographical. I'm really bad with maps, which is why it turned into a 5-day trip. So basically, though. It was on Lake Huron. It's kind of situated way off of Manitoulin Island.
Okay.
Like just off of Manitoulin. Like you go the same direction. It's like just a bit before.
Okay.
So, anyways, you boat out to the island, but you boat through Huron, and for people who don't know, Lake Huron. It's in that famous song, right? That Edmund Fitz, like the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, where he refers to it. And he's like, Lake Huron rolls. Yeah. Dude, it sucks, doesn't it? Like, you know firsthand, and that's why you kind of like inspired me to share this. But I co-led the trip, and we went out with the sea kayaks, and then there were 3 15-year-olds, 2 dudes, 1 girl, and then my co-leader Hannah and myself, and the 5 of us went, and we kind of, like, we were riding the shore because the weather wasn't too bad, and then we kind of we went up in the middle, kind of like off, and basically it was like there was almost like a peak. It kind of looked like an egg, the way the island kind of went, and we were inside the bay, and we would go out, and it was flat. We would go out, and as soon as we went out, it was kind of like this. It was a shoot. We like went shoot straight out into the open, so we had to ride the shore pretty close. But one of the dudes got like blown further out, and so it's like, well, okay. He panicked, and I was like, oh no. So he started to freak out, and he stopped paddling. So he freaked out and he stopped paddling, and that just made him go further away. So now I have to switch, paddle against the waves out, like kind of cross the waves, right? So I'm like, I'm probably gonna tip, right? Because I got a lot of luggage and stuff. Like I'm all packed up, and this is gonna suck. So I'm getting blown over, and then there's like the other teenagers in their boats, and I'm like, Hannah's taking them to the side, like more into shore. So I'm like, all right, no, we're going close to shore, like within like 8 feet of the shore. And I paddle out in the cross, and I'm like, I'm like just trying to balance, trying to figure this out. I go, and I'm like, dude, the whole thing was like, it's like, man, you got to take me back. I'm like, I can't attach my boat to you. Like, you got to pull me back. I'm like, I can't. Physically cannot make this happen right now without going in the water and ruining this for everybody. This is not happening. I'm like, dude, you have to paddle. Have to paddle. Just find it. He gave up. So I was like, dude, you have, like, find it. I don't care where it is. Find it. Now's the time to find it. And apply it, paddle hard. Let's go. And then we kind of like turn around and it was just like any inspirational thing from anything ever, any speech, I just flew it at him. I was like mixing quotes and like lines from it. I'm like, dude, there's no outcome to this that's good if you don't paddle. And he kind of like eventually mustered up the courage and strength to paddle and get through. So we made it back. We got to the thing and I was like, hey guys, like we ended up staying an extra day on shore at the same site because of how bad the waves and weather were. And it was just so windy because we were at the point, right? It was so windy, so we had to wait for the wind to die down. But if we go out in the middle of the lake, it's like, well, and it's not a small lake, right?
No.
So yeah, it's not that exciting of a time. So when people say they did something on Lake Huron, I'm like, let me hear how that went for you.
Yeah, it's even the calm day. It was like when we were going out when it was calm, you could still feel it was still rolling. It still felt like the ocean.
Yeah.
Which to me, I wanted to sit there and go to sleep because I felt like I was at home.
Yeah. You probably didn't mind it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's being on the water is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, even calm, the water's still rolling. It's so cool to see.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Do you have with kayaking and kayak trips being like another one of your passion project hobbies, do you ever want to do something like crazy big for that one? Like, are you paddle across the Pacific Ocean or something? I don't know.
Nothing.
That's a bad example.
Nothing that big. Like, it's obviously those sorts of things have been done. And I spend a lot of time watching Red Bull TV.
Yeah. So
and anyone who comes to visit me, I'm like, watch Red Bull TV with me. And, yeah, it's more of a me thing, and most people aren't as interested as I am. But it's maybe we can talk about some of the same things we've watched on Red Bull TV.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I definitely river trips. I'm getting into river trips more interested. I don't have a whitewater kayak or any experience whitewater.
No.
So that's something I want to learn how to do. Like, I'd like to do some training and learn how to do proper whitewater kayaking so that I can do it safely.
Yeah.
And then like maybe explore the Ottawa River.
That'd be a cool one, eh?
And then sea kayaking, which obviously, like we just talked about here, Lake Huron it's basically like the ocean.
Dude.
I'd like to do some trips around Newfoundland, like do some multi-day expeditions, exploring the coast of Newfoundland by kayak.
Oh,
like it hasn't been done a lot. There was a guy, I believe, at least one guy kayaked all around Newfoundland. There's like a full summer thing because it's huge.
That's massive. Yeah, it's an island.
Yeah,
essentially, but it's a province.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Like,
ridiculous.
I don't know how many kilometers of coastline there are, but there are thousands of kilometers of coastline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably won't get into as big expeditions on the kayak.
Yeah.
Multi-day, maybe. Or like we mentioned, bike rafting. I want to say bike packing, but bike rafting, cool. That's another thing I want to do. It's a lot of hobbies.
Dude, I don't blame you. They're fun. Now, do you, have you ever been to Cape Spear?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Dude, what was it like?
Back on when you were planning a trip out east, you have to go to Cape Spear.
Yeah, dude, that's where I want to go. I've been looking at them like...
The sunrise, so my bike ride across Newfoundland, when I do it, it's going to end at Cape Spear.
Dude!
Because it's obviously most easterly point in North America, that's where you go.
It does not... And it's not... Okay, we need to say that again. It's the most eastern point on North America.
Yeah, like not Newfoundland, not Canada.
No.
North America.
North America.
You go straight south, you just keep going.
Yeah, it's water. You're in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
Like, maybe.
Yeah,
probably not. Again, bad with maps, bro. Bad with maps. But yeah, I think that's where I gotta go. Because I was talking to my one of my best friends is in Australia right now, and I was just FaceTiming with him yesterday, and he was like, "Dude, we got a road trip. You went out west last summer. I went almost literally a year ago out west with a couple buddies. And he's like, dude, let's go out east next when he's back. So in probably late April to sometime in spring when the weather's good. But want to go out there, start here in Sudbury and kind of hit Ottawa, Montreal, go through New Brunswick. Because, like, man, it's Ottawa, Montreal. I've been there enough.
Yeah.
But I've never been to Newfoundland.
Yeah.
I've been to Halifax. I've been to Nova Scotia a handful of times as an adult. Never been to New Brunswick as an adult.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, and then seeing kind of how he's come back from Australia for a couple of years. So I'm like, hey, like let's do something epic. Like,
yeah, if you can take the time, you're gonna explore. Definitely, very specifically when you get to St. John's, make sure you get a sunrise at Cape Spear.
Sunrise at Cape Spear.
Just like one, because you can say I'm the first person in North America to see the sun today, besides for someone that might be in a boat. But
yeah, I'm not worried about them.
But yeah, but yeah, no, it's unbelievable just the way the light comes in, and usually there's a little bit of fog that'll roll in. I got some photos I'll show you after.
Yeah, man, please.
Yeah, the fog might roll in. Some days it's perfectly clear. Some days it's foggy and you can't see anything.
Wow.
But if you get it just right, like we went out one day. We were in St. John's, so we'd wake up. I've seen a lot of sunrises at Cape Spear. So my wife and I,
I'm so jealous.
We would just wake up in St. John's at, depending on the time of year, 5:30 a.m. and drive.
It's early, yeah.
Drive the 25 minutes it is to Cape Spear.
From St. John's?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad
Not bad at all.
Oh, man, I was prepared to walk 100 kilometers.
Yeah, like I biked it in an hour and 10 minutes or something. I guess it's not that far.
So it's reasonable.
It's not bad at all.
Okay. As a Cape Spear. That'd be worth it.
Yeah, like from Signal Hill. So Signal Hill is in St. John's. Mm-hmm. You see Cape Spear from there. It's not that far at all. Really, really cool. So it was foggy in St. John's. We were lying in bed, look out the window, foggy. We're like, what are we going to do this for? This is no good. It's just no sunrise. Mm-hmm. You know what? Let's risk it. Sure enough, you drive out, and as you're like driving up over the hills and out towards Cape Spear, the fog breaks.
No.
So you're there, and it was amazing. Just the sun rising, little bits of fog rolling in over the hill.
Yeah.
You look towards St. John's, completely clouded in fog.
Yeah.
But it was amazing.
Yeah. Dude. And I'm sure pictures don't do it justice.
No, they don't.
Never. I got never do.
Pretty cool pictures, but they definitely don't do it justice.
That makes it even better, too, because I've seen and shown people a handful of photos from my travels throughout the years, and I'm like, yo, look at that. They're like, yo, that picture's epic. I'm like, you wouldn't believe it if you were there. You know, like, there's something about, like, you capture this much.
Yeah.
You don't capture this much. Like, it's all the way around. It's that bit that happens here that's just...
And even now with,
crazy.
like, panoramic photos. Panoramic photos are amazing. I love them. But it's still not the same. There's no way to recreate it.
It's
the sound.
crazy.
One thing about Cape Spear is the sound. Because you're out on this point. So the ocean, it's just rolling in all around you. So even the calmest day, you still hear the ocean. Still coming in and out.
Is it like a cliff?
One side is a cliff. So... And then the other side kind of... Not really cliff, like it more rolls like gently down into the ocean.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one side is a cliff.
Come on.
And however, I don't know how many feet up it is, but it's insanely high.
Yeah, and if
I've been up there there's been a few times I've been up there and whales have been coming along below.
Stop.
So you're looking down and you see whales underwater. Amazing.
What?
Yeah.
Come on.
I have thousands of pictures.
Like of what? Like
of looking at whales,
dude. I can look at those photos all day. That's insane. Come on.
Like looking down on whales. That's happened. There's a few points. The one picture you pulled up there earlier, I was up on that cliff and seeing whales down below. That was like the coolest thing is to watch whales from above.
Underwater.
Because you see them underwater, then you see them come up, then they go under. Yeah, it's cool.
What?
Yeah,
dude, that is really cool.
Jeez,
that's now. You just drive over a bridge.
To get to Cape Spear?
No, to Newfoundland.
Oh no.
So
no. You need if you're planning the trip or when you go, make sure you have the time because it's going to take you depending on how much stopping you do. It's 3 to 4 days to get to North Sydney where the boat is in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
So it's a good drive to get there, a few thousand kilometers, and then the boat is depending on the time of day. It's either 6 hours or 8 hours. 6 hours during the day, roughly.
Oh, it's a boat ride to.
Yeah.
It's not a.
No.
Wow.
Or 8 hours at night because they slow down. I'm not sure if it's due to the union and the workers on the other side, what time they start, or if it's conditions or a mix of both. So it's about 8 hours if you go overnight. That's usually when we try to do it, so we just sleep in a chair on the boat or in a cabin.
Might be the way to do it. Right? You bring the car, drive it on, or go
you drive it onto the boat and then go to sleep. That being said, I would recommend doing at least 1 day crossing either there or back.
Yeah,
because it's cool to be up on the boat. Like I proposed to my wife on that boat.
That's gangster. Yeah. That's a good proposal.
Yeah. It was foggy, but I was like, it is what it is.
It is what it is, babe.
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude. Congrats. That's huge.
Thanks.
That's a good one. That's a really good one, actually.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, it was foggy up on top, so everyone was inside, so it was just us up on top of the boat.
Come on.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Dude, that is really cool.
Yeah, so definitely do 1 day trip, because sometimes there's a few times I've seen like a seal might be swimming across the bottom of the boat, or a dolphin. A few times you see whales in the distance. It's definitely a cool experience.
Because Newfoundland would be of that trip where I've been to Ottawa enough times, I've been to Montreal, I'll be going to Montreal this weekend, so doing those kind of things, like, I get it, but Maritimes are I feel it's as close to Europe without being in Europe, you know what I mean? It's very Europe-esque, like, just with the way some of the cities are laid out, and then kind of the landscape.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yes, and Newfoundland is so big. There's so many different regions in Newfoundland. Like the West Coast has some Scottish heritage, and then there's English in pockets, French, and then South and East Coast a lot of Irish. Mm-hmm. And then the landscape changes. It's just there's so much to see. So once you get across that ferry ride, to get from Port aux Basques to St. John's is about 10 hours of straight driving.
That's fine.
Maybe. Yeah. There's another boat you could take, so the same place. So one boat goes to Port aux Basques, the other boat will take you, I forget the name of the town, but it's closer to St. John's. It might be an hour or two outside of St. John's. Mm-hmm. But I believe, I've never done it, but I think it's about an 18-hour boat ride.
Huh.
Yeah, so you can do that if you want to, but the drive across Newfoundland I'd recommend. So take the shorter boat and then drive it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's, and we'll be in touch when I make this happen. So
definitely.
Put in paper,
Lots of
things
to tell you.
Okay. Perfect. Because that's where I want to focus the trip. I think we're trying to make it 10 days, 2 weeks. But I've done, when I went out west with my buddies, I drove probably the worst time of the day to drive because no one else is awake. So we left Calgary at 10 p.m. and we made it to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan at 5 a.m. So I drove 7 to 7.5 hours by myself in the middle of the night. There's a buddy of mine next to me, 2 in the back, 1 in the far back. So there's 5 of us, right? So all 4 of them are passed out. So they're all passed out, and I'm watching and I'm driving, and I'm on the prairie, or I'm not on the prairie, sorry, I'm on the flat. Like, it's very flat, right? So, it is the prairies, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so, it's weird. Anyways, so you're on the prairies driving, and it's all flat, right? So the speed limit's 130, so I just pump it to 150.
Speed limit is 130?
Yeah, man. Put on cruise. Sorry. 110. 110.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, Nova Scotia and New Brunswick 110.
Yeah, I went 130. That's what it was. I see the distinction I made. My bad. Yeah, so I pumped it to 130, cruise control, and then high beams on, and dude, just the animals and everything.
Yeah.
So if I need to drive 5 to 7 hours again, and then my buddy switch over and drive another 5, we can make it happen. We can make it happen. So I'm not too worried with that. So my whole thing is, I'm like, when I go on these things, it's like if I road trip, I'm like, I'll be tired the whole time. I'll make the most of it.
Yeah.
You know, like you can kind of channel it, and like there's no. It's like, no, we're doing this. We're here. Yeah. It's one time. There's a lot of energy that you can bring up, and I don't think
for a second in Newfoundland you're going to be feeling tired. You're going to want to see everything.
Just want to see it and embrace it all.
Yeah, and even the drive through the Maritimes is nice. I've done it 5-6 times now, maybe.
Yeah.
Nice. You can rush it. You can slow it down. Whatever you want to do. Like I did from Oshawa to the boat in, I want to say 18 hours. Like we were rushing to get there. We drove overnight to get the morning crossing.
Yeah.
So that when we get to Newfoundland, we could drive the 4 hours to my dad's cabin.
Nice.
We drive basically straight through. I drove almost the whole 18 hours. I took an hour break here and there. My wife drove.
You're an animal. That's crazy.
And then we get to North Sydney and the boat's delayed. We get there in the morning. We're like, okay. So we just rushed this whole thing for nothing. And we had all day. So we're so tired. There's 3 of us. We actually rented a hotel for the day.
Smart. Right?
Yeah, and just got some sleep.
There's good times that you can kind of fit rest in, but
we had no other choice. Like sleep in the car, which was full of luggage, or now I just get a hotel and sleep for a few hours.
It's worth the $50 a person to do it at 30, but
yeah.
So as you gotta approach the end of this conversation, Richard, do you have any like message or a big lesson that taught you something that you would pass on or that you would leave to somebody through your experience?
I've been coming on something more over the past few days, more so than before what I've done.
Nice.
But just do whatever you want to do, like within reason. Like don't be reckless.
Yeah.
But if you have an idea, go for it. Within reason.
Yeah.
Like be safe and be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have an idea, go for it. Just have fun with it.
Amazing.
Go for it. I'll tell you all about him. We kind of running out of time to tell you, but there's this guy, Bo Miles, I've been watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's Australian, and he does a lot of interesting videos and challenges. Mm-hmm. The one that I might even try this soon.
Here we go.
He ran a mile an hour, so he ran a marathon in a day.
Oh,
so a mile an hour every 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then every hour, so he'd run around his block 1 mile, and then he'd do something. Mow the lawn, fix a chair, do a chore, clean up some garbage. So every hour for 24 hours. So he ran a marathon, And he said afterwards he showed the list of all the things he accomplished in this day, and his thing, he said, realistically, this is how we should spend our life. Just pick something and do it. So I'm kind of curious to see what it'd feel like to run a marathon in a day and see how much I can accomplish around my house or around the yard and neighborhood.
Yeah.
It'd just be a cool challenge. Even to bring a few people. I think my wife might do it with me.
Dude, that's a really good idea. Hell yeah, that's really cool.
So just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Dude.
If you have an idea, go for it.
That's amazing. And I like that. So, with that being said, I was super excited to have this conversation with you. We hadn't met prior to doing the conversation or the show, but from what everybody has told me and then recommending that I reach out to you, I could not be more grateful for your time and really appreciate you sharing your story with me and my audience today. And yeah, man, I look forward to training with you in the future and doing some dope shit. So appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Right on. Awesome.